TikTok made me do it. Crimes and stupidity inspired by social media trends. Welcome to Seriously Sus, a podcast exposing shadiness with a side eye, and your hosts, Nanette and Miranda. We dig into true crime trends, internet chaos, and cultural nonsense that makes you stop and go, wait a damn minute. So get your side eye ready, because today we're investigating what happens when the attention becomes more valuable than common sense. Hey everyone, welcome back to Seriously Sus. I'm Miranda.
And I'm Nanette. And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, people making terrible decisions.
It really is one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
The internet has given us a lot of wonderful things. Instant communication, access to unlimited information, and cute animal videos.
And unfortunately, it has also given every bad idea in human history its own marketing department.
Today we're looking at social media trends that inspired crimes, injuries, arrests, lawsuits, emergency room visits, and at least a few exhausted doctors questioning their career choices.
And before anybody gets upset, not every person who participated in these trends got hurt or arrested. But enough people did that we're still talking about them years later, which is generally not a great sign.
We're covering everything from people eating cinnamon to eating laundry detergent to stealing school property to stealing actual cars.
And somehow, none of those are the dumbest things we'll discuss today.
No, that honor belongs to a trend involving cold medicine and poultry.
I hate that sentence every time I hear it.
We'll also be tracking our official internet was a mistake meter throughout this episode.
This is our highly scientific measurement of how disappointed we currently are in humanity. The scale runs from 1 to 10. 1 means humanity is doing fine. 10 means aliens are observing us and actively reconsidering first contact.
And later, we'll introduce the Judge Judy scale, which is exactly what it sounds like. Every time somebody's quest for internet fame results in criminal charges, we're going to ask the important question, how hard would Judge Judy be rolling her eyes right now?
Spoiler alert, several eyeballs may have left the courtroom entirely.
And later, we'll play a game called TikTok PR Team, where we attempt to defend trends that absolutely should not be defended.
The legal term for this is an impossible task.
So grab your side eye and whatever faith in humanity you still have, because we're about to test it. Remember when people ate cinnamon?
We thought that was the dumbest thing the internet would ever do.
Then people started eating Tide Pods.
We were wrong.
Then people started stealing sinks from schools.
Still wrong.
Then they started stealing cars.
Amazingly, somehow, still wrong.
Always wrong. And then someone looked at a bottle of NyQuil and a package of chicken breast and thought, you know what these need? Each other.
No, hard no.
Welcome to Seriously Sus. Before we jump into the Hall of Fame of bad decisions, let's talk about why this keeps happening. Because on the surface, none of these trends seem related. One involves car theft. One involves intentionally eating something that literally has poison control number printed on the packaging. And yet, somehow, they're all connected.
The common thread is attention. Humans have always done dumb things. That's not new. What's new is now there's an audience. 100 years ago, if you made a terrible decision, maybe 10 people saw it. Today, you can make a terrible decision in your kitchen and 12 million people will watch it before lunch.
And social media platforms are designed to reward that attention. Not accuracy, not wisdom for sure, not good judgment, attention. The algorithm doesn't care if people are watching because they're inspired or because they're horrified. A view is a view.
Which creates a weird incentive structure. Nobody gets famous for making responsible choices. Nobody goes viral for paying their taxes on time. Nobody becomes an influencer because they followed all safety instructions exactly as written.
The internet rewards novelty, shock, outrage, surprise, and unfortunately, humans are very willing to provide all of those things.
Psychologists talk about social proof. The idea that if enough people appear to be doing the same thing, it starts feeling normal. Even when the thing is objectively ridiculous. If one person eats a spoonful of cinnamon, everyone thinks they're weird. 1 million people suddenly do it, and suddenly it becomes a challenge.
I'm not eating cinnamon.
Nope.
Not a whole spoon anyway, just a little sprinkle.
Mm-hmm.
And younger people are especially vulnerable to that pressure. You're already wired to care what other people think. Now add an audience, likes, comments, shares, and the possibility of internet fame. That's a really powerful combination.
It's also how we ended up with an entire generation collectively looking at obviously bad ideas and going, you know what? Maybe.
Not every challenge was bad. The Ice Bucket Challenge raised millions of dollars for ALS research. People participated, they had fun, it raised awareness, and it actually helped other people.
Which means we know how humanity is capable of good decisions.
Exactly. And somehow it makes this episode way worse because we know better. We've demonstrated that we know better. And then we immediately turned around and started eating detergent.
The internet was a mistake meter, currently sits at about 3. Concerning, but manageable.
Oh, give us time.
We're just getting started.
To understand modern challenge culture, we need to go back. Way back. Back before TikTok, back before influencers were a career. Back to a simpler time. A time when YouTube was young and humanity was just beginning to discover the full potential of public embarrassment.
The year was 2012. The challenge was cinnamon. And for reasons that still aren't entirely clear to me, millions of people decided the best use of their time was attempting to swallow a spoonful of dry cinnamon without drinking water.
Now, if you've never tried this, and please don't, the problem is that cinnamon is incredibly dry. The moment it hits your mouth, your body immediately starts protesting. People coughed, they gagged, they spit cinnamon everywhere. They accidentally inhaled it, and then they uploaded the footage for all of us on the internet to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. This was basically America's Funniest Home Videos if everyone involved made the decision voluntarily.
Doctors quickly started warning people about the risks because inhaling fine powders into your lungs turns out to be a bad idea. Who would have predicted that?
No. Certainly not the people participating, because if foresight had entered the chat, this challenge wouldn't exist.
What fascinates me is how little the reward was. You didn't win anything, you didn't prove anything, you weren't raising money. You just became another person coughing cinnamon on your kitchen floor.
And yet millions of people looked at that outcome and said, worth it.
The internet was a mistake meter?
Solid 6. We're concerned, not alarmed, just disappointed.
If the Cinnamon Challenge was the opening act, the Tide Pod Challenge was the moment humanity's management team called an emergency meeting. Because around 2017 and 2018, the internet collectively became obsessed with one question. What if we ate laundry detergent?
I need everyone listening to understand. Nobody, absolutely nobody, accidentally confused a Tide Pod with food. This wasn't somebody grabbing the wrong thing in the pantry. These things are bright orange, blue, and white. They look like what would happen if Cleaning Supply and Lava Lamp had a baby.
Now, to be fair, a lot of the videos were jokes. A lot of people were pretending. But enough people actually bit into them that poison control centers started seeing cases connected to the trend. And suddenly we had doctors, teachers, parents, schools, and detergent manufacturers all delivering the exact same message. Please stop eating soap.
Who knew this was something we had to say repeatedly?
Right? Just please don't eat soap.
Imagine being the employee at Tide whose entire career suddenly became public relations for detergent. You went to college, you worked hard, you climbed the corporate ladder, and one day your job description becomes convince grown-ass humans not to consume laundry products.
The challenge became such a cultural phenomenon that major news outlets covered it. Talk shows covered it, government agencies discussed it, and poison control centers issued their warnings.
The detergent company had to issue warnings too, which honestly feels unfair, because at some point we have to accept personal responsibility for not eating things that are clearly not food.
What's especially wild is this wasn't even one of those situations where the danger was hidden. Nobody needs years of research. Nobody needed experts to debate it. The packaging literally tells you not to eat it.
This challenge was basically humanity looking directly at the instructions and saying, "You're not the boss of me."
Honestly, that's so human.
Mm-hmm.
The internet was a mistake meter.
8. We moved from disappointing to concerning.
I agree. The meter is sweating. Now, up to this point, we've mostly been talking about people hurting themselves, which is unfortunate, but the internet eventually asked a different question. What if instead of harming ourselves, we committed crimes?
And that's where things took a turn, because the next trends weren't about swallowing weird things. They're about stealing weird things.
In 2021, TikTok introduced us to a trend called Devious Licks. And I have to admit, when I first heard the name, I had absolutely no idea what that meant.
Same. It sounds like either a skateboarding trick or an ice cream flavor. But it wasn't either.
Or it's about to trend on Romance Book Talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, the trend encouraged students to steal items from their schools and then post the evidence online. At first, it was relatively small things, markers, classroom supplies, random objects. And then things escalated because, of course they did.
If social media has taught us anything, it's that escalation is inevitable. Nobody wants to be the fifth person who stole a stapler. The algorithm demands more innovation.
So students were stealing soap dispensers, bathroom mirrors, paper towel dispensers, exit signs, classroom phones, whole projectors, and in some reported cases, entire sinks. How do you even do that?
I know. I just need us to pause there. A sink. Not a pen, not a notebook, a plumbing fixture. At some point, a teenager stood in the school bathroom and thought, you know what would look great in my bathroom? Municipal infrastructure. And then actually had the skill to do that.
I was just going to say, it's nice to see teens learning to use tools.
Right?
It's nice to see
good
it.
future in plumbing.
It's nice to see them, spending
Right?
some time doing some things besides being on their phones.
Oh, God. I'd love to know how many schools got flooded because of something like that.
All right. They forgot to turn on. Oh, my God. Plus, nobody could wash their hands. Wasn't this like 2021, pandemic time, and there's no sink now?
True.
School districts across the country reported significant property damage and theft. Some bathrooms had to be closed, repairs cost thousands of dollars, and administrators suddenly found themselves having conversations they never expected to have.
Like explaining to parents why their child came home with a urinal. I think the child should be explaining to their parents why they came home with a urinal.
Honestly, my parents probably wouldn't have questioned it. I came up with some weird stuff sometimes. Now, because this is seriously sus, let's talk consequences. A number of students across the country were suspended, expelled, or faced criminal charges tied to theft and vandalism connected to this trend. Because it turns out, posting evidence of your crimes online is not an ideal legal strategy.
Which brings us to our next newest measurement, to the Judge Judy scale.
The Judge Judy scale measures how aggressively Judge Judy would be rolling her eyes at this very situation.
Stealing a sink for TikTok? That's a 9.
Strong 9.
She hasn't left the courtroom yet, but she is definitely disappointed in you.
Internet was a mistake meter.
8.5. The meter is now making concerned noise.
And now we arrive at what may be the most successful criminal recruitment campaign social media has ever accidentally created. The Kia Boys.
For anyone unfamiliar, this trend involved videos showing how certain Kia and Hyundai vehicles could be stolen using surprisingly simple methods. The videos spread rapidly across social media, and unfortunately, people paid attention.
Yeah, thanks for spiking all our insurances. Anyway, thousands of vehicles were stolen across the United States. Insurance companies took notice. Police departments took notice. And car owners definitely took notice.
Imagine waking up, walking outside, and discovering your car has become part of a viral trend. That's not a sentence anyone wants to attach to their vehicle.
I'd be so pissed. What separates the Kia Boys from other trends we've discussed is that it wasn't just reckless, it was criminal from the very beginning. The entire challenge required stealing someone else's property. There's no gray area, there's no misunderstanding, there's no confusion. It's obviously not a joke.
Nobody accidentally became a car thief.
Exactly, and yet social media transformed it into a source of status and entertainment. Videos showing stolen cars, dangerous driving, crashes, and joyrides spread across multiple platforms.
Which leads us to my favorite reoccurring theme of this episode, people documenting their own crimes. And if you haven't seen it, we actually have an entire episode on dumb criminals.
People documenting their own crimes.
The internet has done far more for law enforcement than some surveillance programs.
Seriously. Authorities eventually made numerous arrests connected to the theft rings and copycat incidents. Several crashes resulted in injuries and deaths. Cities filed lawsuits, manufacturers faced lawsuits, insurance rates increased, and the consequences extended far beyond a few viral videos.
And this is where the episode gets interesting, because the original goal wasn't transportation, it wasn't financial gain, it wasn't organized crime. The goal was attention. The car was just the prop.
Judge Judy scale?
11. We've broken the scale. Judge Judy has gone home.
Internet was a mistake meter?
9. The meter has started questioning its life choices.
At this point, we've covered people eating things they shouldn't eat and stealing things they definitely shouldn't steal.
Naturally, the next step was challenging gravity.
A battle humanity has never won.
Yet we keep scheduling rematches.
There are certain laws of nature that humanity should simply accept. Gravity is one of them. Gravity has an undefeated record. It doesn't negotiate. It does not care about your followers. And yet, in 2021, thousands of people looked at stacks of unstable plastic milk crates and said, I bet I could beat physics.
Spoiler alert, they could not. For anyone lucky enough to have missed this trend, participants stacked milk crates into a pyramid and attempted to walk across the top. The crates would immediately begin shifting, wobbling, collapsing, and generally behaving exactly how every reasonable person would expect them to behave.
Right. Clearly you guys have never had milk crate side tables by your bed because
Right.
you put a drink on that a little wonky, the whole thing's toppling over.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we're all in different tax brackets.
Yep.
The challenge became wildly popular because every video had one of two possible outcomes. Someone fell, or someone was about to fall. There was no third option.
The challenge was basically a trust exercise between humans and physics. Physics declined to participate.
Doctors in emergency rooms quickly started reporting injuries. Broken wrists, broken ankles, shoulder injuries, concussions. All because people voluntarily climbed into a structure that looked like it had been designed by a raccoon with no engineering experience.
And what fascinates me is that every single participant seemed genuinely surprised by the outcome. Like they expect gravity to make an exception.
They were going to be the one to do it.
Of course.
Internet was a mistake meter?
8. Not because it was criminal, just because everyone involved should have absolutely known better.
A strong 8. The meter has started drinking. Next up, we have a challenge built around a simple concept. What if pain was content?
The hot chip challenge involved eating an extremely spicy tortilla chip made with some of the hottest peppers on earth. Participants would attempt to endure the consequences without immediately regretting every life decision that brought them to that moment.
Okay, confession time. I did this one.
Did you?
I did this one. I've done a lot of various pepper challenges.
And?
It was super fun, actually.
Okay.
But I eat a lot of those spicy foods on a regular basis, like the scorpion peppers and things like that. So I already have a tolerance level. I don't recommend just going into it.
No, you would probably burn my esophagus.
I was say, especially you. Oh my goodness, you poor thing. But for people who haven't prepped for a very long time eating spicy peppers before that, the consequences can be very severe. People reported intense burning sensation, vomiting, stomach pain, and in some cases, medical emergencies that require treatment. I've seen people vomit from it, like, in my own backyard, like, in person.
That would be me. So, here's the thing. I understand people like you who like spicy food. What I don't understand is spending the money to intentionally lose a fight against a snack that could put you in the hospital.
I think I can beat it. The challenge became especially popular because the reactions were dramatic. And honestly, they are. Had me running back and forth like I just heard the funniest joke ever. And like somehow it was going to put out the fire in my mouth.
I wish we had video.
Oh, I might have some. I do have a video somewhere, I can link it, of me doing a spicy chicken wing challenge, and it is hilarious. I'll go ahead and link that for everybody, too, while we're talking about dumb challenges. Anyway, the challenge became popular because reactions were dramatic, and dramatic reactions perform well online. Again, we're seeing the same pattern. The algorithm rewards the spectacle.
Nothing says spectacle quite like someone questioning their life choices while sweating through every pore in their body.
At some point, the challenge became controversial enough that schools were issuing warnings and health officials were weighing in, which is usually not where you want your snack foods to end up.
Imagine being the inventor. You set out to make a spicy chip. You accidentally create a public health discussion.
Internet was a mistake meter?
7, mostly because participation was voluntary.
And unlike the Kia voice, nobody stole a car.
The bar is in hell, Miranda. But yes.
And now we arrive at what I can only describe as the final boss of internet stupidity.
I have been dreading this section.
I know you have. I know you have. You can
throw up in my mouth a little bit every time I think of it.
I believe in you. You can get through this. The internet refers to it as NyQuil Chicken, a phrase that should trigger immediate concern in every human being. She really is, guys. She's not faking. She's literally trying to hold it down.
For those unfamiliar, the video began circulating showing people cooking chicken in NyQuil. Yes, the cold medicine. Yes, that not natural colored cold medicine. Not marinade, not a sauce. Cold medicine.
Oh, it's nice to see white people using seasoning. Now, it's important to note that many of the videos appear to be jokes. Some were clearly invented as satire. The problem is that when enough people joke about something online, eventually someone decides to try it. And that's when government agencies and health experts to have really uncomfortable conversations.
Including conversations they absolutely never expected to have. Please don't season poultry with pharmaceuticals.
Health official warned that heating medication can change the concentration and release potentially dangerous vapors, meaning that the risks weren't limited to just eating it. You could create problems just by cooking it.
I need everyone listening to appreciate the journey that brought us here. Humanity invented agriculture, built civilizations, walked on the moon, mapped the human genome, and then somebody looked at chicken and somebody looked at NyQuil and said, what if?
No scientist has ever contributed more to the phrase, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
And what's amazing is that this trend wasn't even appealing. The food looked terrible. The concept was terrible. The outcome was terrible. There was no upside.
It's just literally the worst tasting cough medicine too.
Right?
Not that there would be a good one, but...
Right? I mean, I could guess maybe if you're going to do something so stupid, try a cherry flavored one, but Right,
maybe mix, get some nice rosemary in there.
Right?
I don't know.
But
I don't know what's happening. Which makes it uniquely qualified for today's competition, honestly, because unlike some of these challenges, there wasn't even a plausible argument that it looked fun.
It looked like a cry for help.
Internet was a mistake meter.
10. We've done it. We've reached maximum disappointment. The internet meter has burst into flames.
I agree. We have officially exceeded the design specifications.
Up till now, we've mostly been laughing because most of these trends were absurd. Some were criminal, many were embarrassing, but they are still mostly ridiculous.
The next section is different because this is where challenge culture stops being funny and started becoming really dangerous.
Several of the trends we're about to discuss resulted in serious injuries and death. So we're going to shift gears for a moment.
The side-eye remains, but the jokes are mostly taking a seat.
Because when attention starts costing lives, the conversation changes, and that's exactly what happened with the Blackout challenge.
Unlike the challenges we've covered so far, the Blackout challenge wasn't just embarrassing. It was deadly. The challenge encouraged participants to intentionally restrict their oxygen supply until they lost consciousness, or came close to it. Videos circulated online, often framed as a challenge, a game, or some kind of test of endurance. And unfortunately, some children and teenagers paid attention.
One of the things that comes up repeatedly when researchers and safety experts talk about these trends is that social media creates the illusion that the risk is smaller than it actually is. You see a short video, you see someone laughing afterward, you see comments, you see views. What you don't see are all the people that got hurt. You don't see the emergency room visits, you don't see families dealing with a tragedy, and you definitely don't see the worst outcomes because those videos usually don't get posted.
Multiple deaths have been linked to versions of this challenges. Parents, schools, pediatricians, and safety organizations issued warnings. Platforms removed content. Lawsuits followed. And what makes it especially heartbreaking is that many of the victims were very young.
This is where the challenge culture stops looking funny and starts looking dangerous. Because nobody involved was trying to commit a crime. Nobody was trying to hurt anyone. But attention and curiosity can still have consequences, especially when people don't fully understand the risks.
And that's one of the themes that keeps showing up throughout this episode. The internet is really good at spreading ideas. It is significantly worse at communicating consequences.
For the first time all episode, I don't want to actually update the internet was a mistake meter, because this isn't about disappointment anymore. It's about recognizing that some trends carry real-world cost. This isn't a joke category. This is a cautionary tale category.
Unfortunately, the Blackout challenge wasn't the only example of social media encouraging dangerous behavior. Another trend that generated significant concern became known as the Benadryl challenge. The premise was simple. Take large amounts of Benadryl and attempt to experience hallucinations. I actually did this unintentionally as a child. I was overdosed on Benadryl when I had chicken pox and ended up in the emergency room with hallucinations. It was really crazy. My family thought I was allergic to Benadryl for years because of that.
Oh, wow. I don't even know how this would start, because I take like 1, 2 at most and I'm knocked out. But so this immediately raises a question. When do people start treating TikTok like a pharmacist? Because that's not a role anyone on the platform is qualified for. Okay, except for the actual pharmacist, but you know what we're saying.
Right. So Benadryl, it's an over-the-counter medication, and most people have probably used it at some point for allergies or sleep. But taking it in excessive amounts can be extremely dangerous. Potential consequences include heart problems, seizures, delirium, hospitalization, death, and in my case, legitimately thinking that all your friends were in your house in the middle of the night.
One of the most frustrating things about challenges like this is that they often disguise danger as experimentation. People convince themselves they're just trying something, testing something, seeing what happens. But medications aren't toys, and I can't believe we have to continue to say this. They're chemicals that affect the body, and dosage matters a lot.
Or really scary stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Several high-profile incidents and hospitalizations brought national attention to the trend. Doctors, poison control centers, and health organizations reportedly warned people about the risks. Platforms remove content, but as we've seen throughout this episode, once an idea gets loose online, it can be very difficult to put it back in a box.
Especially when curiosity gets mixed with boredom, or peer pressure, or the desire to go viral, because all of these things are powerful motivators, particularly for younger audiences.
The challenge also highlights something we've talked about before on Seriously Sus. Just because something's legal doesn't mean it's safe. And just because something is sold in a store doesn't mean it's harmless.
Exactly. Water is safe. Too much water can kill you. Medicine can be helpful. Misusing it can still be dangerous. Context matters. Dosage really matters. Reality absolutely matters. And social media isn't always great at communicating those details.
Final challenge in this category is one that's actually older than social media itself. But social media did give it a second life. Subway surfing. And for anyone unfamiliar, subway surfing involves riding on top of moving trains rather than inside them, which is exactly as dangerous as it sounds.
This is one of those trends where I genuinely struggle to understand the sales pitch. You're already on the train. The transportation problem is solved. Why are we making it harder and more dangerous?
Videos showing riders climbing onto train roofs, filming themselves while trains are moving have circulated online for years. And in some cities, authorities have reported increases in incidents tied to social media exposure and challenge culture.
The risks are obvious. Falls, electrocutions, collisions, fatal injuries. There's no hidden danger here. The danger is standing right in front of you, waving both arms.
It is right there. And unfortunately, multiple deaths have been linked to the subway surfing in recent years. Transportation agencies have launched public awareness campaigns, schools have issued warnings, and families have spoken publicly about loss. Yet, the videos continue to circulate.
Which brings us back to the central question of this episode. Why? Why do people keep doing these things? Because the answer isn't that people are stupid, though some of them are. At least not entirely. The answer is attention is powerful. Validation is powerful. Belonging is powerful. and social media can make that risky behavior look normal.
Especially when all you see is the highlight reel. Nobody uploads a video called "Everything Went Wrong and I Regret This."
Actually, it's not entirely true. People sometimes upload those videos, but usually they do it from a hospital bed.
Well, that's true. So far we've talked about challenges, but there's one final category we need to discuss because eventually social media evolved beyond challenges.
People stopped asking, what's the dumbest thing I can do? And started asking, what's the most outrageous thing I can do for views?
Which brings us to clout-chasing crimes, or as I like to call them, main character syndrome meets criminal justice system.
And unlike milk crates, gravity wasn't always the thing that caught up with them. Sometimes it was the police.
At some point, social media challenges evolved. People stopped balancing on milk crates, and they stopped eating questionable substances, and they discovered a new category of content, being an absolute menace to society.
The internet gave birth to a very specific type of person, the content creator whose entire business model is making strangers miserable, and I cannot stand any one of them.
You've seen them, the prank channels, the public nuisance channels, the people who walk into stores, airports, restaurants, and public spaces and immediately start behaving like they've never interacted with another human being in their entire life before.
The kind of person who ends every terrible decision with, "It's just a prank, bro,"
which has become the unofficial slogan of people discovering consequences.
What's fascinating about this category is that many of these creators aren't even trying to be funny. They're trying to provoke a reaction, because outrage performs incredibly well online. If people are angry enough to comment, share, argue, or stitch your video, the algorithm sees engagement, and engagement equals visibility.
Unfortunately, real people are often caught in the middle. We've seen creators fake crimes, harass strangers, cause disturbances in businesses, trespass in restricted areas, interfere with workers, disrupt public events, and then act genuinely shocked when someone calls the police.
My favorite part is always that surprise. The absolute disbelief. Like they just spent 45 minutes actively creating a problem and somehow expected applause?
I swear. There have been multiple cases where influencers have been arrested or charged after prank videos cross legal lines. Because eventually somebody discovers there's a difference between creating content and creating a police report.
And honestly, that's a distinction more people should learn.
I think a lot of this comes down to what people online call main character syndrome. The idea that you're the star of the story and everyone else is just an extra.
Which works fine right up until the extras start filing complaints.
Exactly, because social media can create a weird distortion of reality. The camera is focused on you, the comments are about you, the followers are there for you, and after a while, some people just start acting like the world literally solely exists as a backdrop for their content.
Except it doesn't. The people working behind the counter aren't supporting characters. The random stranger you're harassing is not an NPC. The airport isn't your film set. And the grocery store definitely did not agree to be part of your content strategy, nor any of the shoppers in there.
Right? This is where things get messy because the internet rewards attention. But society, it rewards cooperation. And eventually these two systems are gonna collide.
And usually in front of a judge.
Which means it's time to bring back the Judge Judy scale.
God bless her, the patron saint of common sense.
Let's review. Stealing a sink for TikTok.
9.
Stealing a car because social media told you it would be cool.
11.
Harassing random strangers in public and then acting shocked when they get angry.
12. Judge Judy has now left the courtroom and is yelling from the parking lot.
Trespassing somewhere you're not supposed to because you might get some views.
13. She's calling security herself.
Pretending to commit a crime for content.
14. We've entered a level of disappointment previously thought impossible.
Internet was a mistake meter.
Still a 10. The meter is no longer measuring, it's just judging.
And now it's time for a game.
A terrible game.
A game we are calling TikTok PR Team.
Where we attempt to manage public relations crisis for the trends that actually should not have existed.
The rules are simple. I'm the corporate spokesperson.
And I'm an employee who just realized the company is doomed.
Our first client, the Cinnamon Challenge. We'd like to clarify that participants were not attempting to inhale powdered spices. They were participating in a respiratory awareness campaign.
No.
We believe the challenge encouraged people to develop deeper appreciation for breathing.
I quit.
You can quit, but we're in the middle of a press conference.
Then I would like the record to show that I am emotionally resigning.
Next client, Tide Pod Challenge.
I already know this is going badly.
Our clients were not attempting to eat detergent. They were exploring innovative approaches to laundry appreciation.
That's worse.
We believe the trend helped customers connect more deeply with our cleaning products.
The Poison Control Center would like to have a word.
No further questions. Next client, those freaking Kia boys.
Oh, absolutely not.
Anyway, we reject the term car thefts. Our clients were participating in unscheduled vehicle relocation exercises.
That is a felony.
We prefer not to use negative language.
The criminal code disagrees.
The vehicles were merely experiencing temporary ownership flexibility.
Miranda.
Yes.
Straight to jail.
And finally, your personal favorite, NyQuil Chicken.
Oh, God, I hate this.
We would like to address recent concerns regarding pharmaceutical poultry.
Pharmaceutical? Poultry? Good Lord.
Our clients were exploring innovative culinary wellness solutions.
No.
We believe this recipe encouraged customers to think outside the cookbook.
And directly into a toxicology report.
Our company remains committed to responsible experimentation.
Your company should be committed.
That's fair.
And this concludes TikTok PR team.
We have successfully made everything worse.
Which is honestly very on brand for this episode.
So, we've reached the end of our challenge lineup.
We laughed, we cringed, we questioned the future of our species, and yet somehow everybody endures.
Well, we did it. We've spent the last hour revisiting some of the internet's greatest mistakes.
And somehow, despite all the preparation, I'm still concerned.
The thing that keeps standing out to me is how many of these trends start the exact same way. One person has an idea, a bad idea, and then they post it online. And then other people copy it, and suddenly thousands or millions of people are participating.
It's like a chain letter. And for those of you who don't know, it started out as snail mail, and then it became an email, and you were supposed to forward it to like 10 people or something horrible would happen to you.
I never did. Maybe that's what happened to me.
Except in this case, instead of forwarding an email, you're stealing a sink or seasoning poultry with cold medicine.
And that's what's fascinating, is most of these trends weren't really about the challenge itself. No one genuinely wanted to eat cinnamon, and no one was passionately committed to laundry detergent. And nobody had a lifelong dream of stealing school plumbing.
We don't know that.
That's true. That's true. Maybe it's a really nice sink.
Perhaps, yep. Or, I guess they want to be a plumber. They had to start somewhere with practicing.
That's right.
But we all know the real goal was attention. The challenge was just the vehicle.
Which brings us to our final event, the most embarrassing moment for Humanity Awards.
The competition nobody wanted, and the only award ceremony where nobody wants to win.
Let's start with bronze. There were a lot of strong contenders. The Milk Crate Challenge, the Cinnamon Challenge, Hot Chip Challenge. Our bronze medal goes to, drum roll please, the Milk Crate Challenge.
Congratulations on losing a very public fight with gravity.
The challenge built entirely around ignoring physics.
A strategy that historically never worked.
The Milk Crates would like to thank Gravity for its continued support.
Gravity remains undefeated.
Now our silver medal. It goes to the Kia Boys.
Because at some point, this stopped being a challenge and became a crime spree with a hashtag.
The only challenge in today's episode where participants regularly uploaded evidence of felonies.
The confidence is honestly breathtaking.
Imagine stealing a car and then voluntarily creating the exhibits for your own prosecution.
That's not criminal mastermind behavior. That's a criminal group project behavior.
Which brings us to our winner, the champion. The trend that made us both stop and stare at our notes several times during research. The gold medal for most embarrassing moment for humanity goes to, and you know it, NyQuil Chicken.
Of course it does.
There was never another option.
Nope. Let's review. You took medicine, you eat it, you add chicken, you create something that nobody wanted, nobody needed, and absolutely nobody should eat.
A truly remarkable achievement.
Not because it was successful, but because it somehow made Tide Pods look reasonable.
Which is a sentence I thought I'd never say.
Cinnamon Challenge, we owe you an apology. We were unfamiliar with how much worse things could get.
We should probably acknowledge a few honorable mentions.
Or dishonorable mentions. That feels more appropriate.
All right. The Blackout Challenge and Benadryl Challenge. Not because they were funny, but because they remind us that social media trends have very real consequences.
And that's worth remembering because it's easy to laugh at the ridiculous stuff. It's harder to remember that sometimes these trends really hurt people, especially young people.
The internet is incredibly powerful, which means bad ideas can spread as quickly as good ones.
Sometimes faster, let's be honest.
So, what have we learned today?
That humanity is capable of incredible things. We can build rockets, develop vaccines, create life-saving technology, advance scientific understanding,
And then immediately eat detergent.
all about balance.
I think the biggest takeaway is that social media didn't create bad decisions. People have been making bad decisions forever.
What social media did was create a word system surrounding them. It turned attention into currency, and once attention becomes the goal, common sense starts losing market share.
That's really the heart of this episode. The problem isn't TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. The problem is what happens when being noticed becomes more important than being smart.
And when the algorithm rewards outrageous behavior, somebody somewhere is always willing to raise the stakes.
Which means there will almost certainly be another challenge.
There is absolutely another challenge. Probably 3.
And that's deeply unsettling.
It is. But it also guarantees the future content for our podcast. So I'm experiencing mixed emotions right now, as long as none of them include NyQuil.
All right, what cough medicine is up next? No.
Please don't.
Before we go, we should probably check the internet was a mistake-o-meter one last time.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Why not?
It quit.
Quit.
Packed up its things, left a note, turned in its badge.
What'd the note say?
I did not sign up for NyQuil Chicken.
Fair. Honestly, fair.
Thanks for hanging out with us while we revisited some of the internet's most questionable moments. If you enjoyed today's episode, let us know which trend you think deserves the title of the most embarrassing moment for humanity.
And if your answer is something we didn't cover, tell us, because unfortunately, this list is nowhere near complete.
We'll be back next week with more side-eye and more stories to make you question reality.
And I will find a way to link that video of me eating those spicy chicken wings for anybody who wants a good laugh. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay seriously sus. Thanks for hanging out with us for another episode of Seriously Sus. We hope you enjoyed today's journey through some of the internet's greatest mistakes, worst ideas, and most ambitious attempts to turn common sense into a missing persons case.
And if today's episode taught us anything, it's that just because something is trending doesn't mean it's smart. Sometimes it just means a lot of people make the exact same bad decision at the exact same time.
Before we go, if you enjoyed the show, there are a few really easy ways you can help us out. First, make sure you're following or subscribed wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's completely free, and it helps ensure you never miss an episode.
And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or another platform that allows ratings and reviews, we'd be incredibly grateful if you would take a minute to leave us one. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider leaving a comment. Reviews and comments help more people discover the show, and that makes a huge difference for independent podcasters like ourselves.
If today's episode made you laugh, cringe, yell, "What is wrong with people?" at your speaker, or immediately think of someone who would enjoy it, share it with them. Word of mouth is still one of the best ways to help podcasts grow.
Especially if that friend is constantly sending you videos that begin with the phrase, "Watch this." They need an intervention.
And we'd love to hear from you. What challenge do you think deserves the title of most embarrassing moment for humanity? Did we miss one? Because let's be honest, there are probably 20 more we could have covered.
Send us your side-eye suggestions, your thoughts, your comments, internet horror stories, or topics you'd like to hear us cover for future episodes. You can reach out on social media at Seriously Sus Podcast or email us at seriouslysuspodcast@gmail.com.
We read your messages. We love hearing your ideas. And a few episode topics have come directly from listener suggestions.
So if you spotted something suspicious, ridiculous, chaotic, shady, or just deeply confusing, send it our way. We're always collecting side-eye material.
And as always, thank you for spending part of your day with us. We know there's a lot of podcasts out there, and we're grateful you chose ours.
Until next time, remember, attention is temporary, screenshots are forever. If a challenge requires a warning label, maybe set that one out.
Instead, keep your side eye sharp and stay seriously sus. Outro music. Outro music.
Outro music. And if you
Outro.
ever cook chicken with NyQuil, You should have your stove taken away.
She's coming for you.
Absolutely.